Okay, I lost my connection, so I'm going to try to do this again. I'm just outside because today we're talking about Earth Day. And, it's one of these talks that for me is actually more difficult than other talks. Here comes my doggie. And it's more difficult because there's so much to be said about our relationship to the natural world, or the non-human natural world. Ironically, Earth Day was created precisely because we have evolved as a human species to a point where we have forgotten that not only are we a part of nature, but we are an expression of nature. Of course, there's nothing that exists outside of nature. And yet we have this concept of people and nature, people in nature, people looking after nature. And yet it's sort of an illusion, or it's sort of a complex concept, because it's ultimately not really true. But nevertheless, as a species, we have developed our consciousness and our relationship to all non-human nature in such a way that has caused us to act as though we were independent of it, as though we were outside of it. And that is why we have come to this time and place where Earth Day seems something necessary to talk about and to celebrate. One of the most incredible principles that we can begin to awaken to, however, is not the biological principle that we are an expression of nature, that we depend on nature for food and clothing, for shelter, for comfort and medicine, but that nature is in fact inside us, and that we are inside nature inextricably. To begin to move to a type of consciousness in which we see the quality of the air as the quality of our lungs and our breath, where we begin to see the purity and the sanctity and the respect for the earth as the purity and the sanctity and the respect we have for our bodies, the way we relate to the creatures of the planet very much as an extension, an expression of the way we relate to aspects of ourselves. For everything that goes extinct out of sheer, what I would call, artificial human influence or untimely human influence, there is a characteristic, a quality of ourselves that is arguably also lost. And so we are learning to no longer see nature as outside ourselves. So let's move on from the idea that we are a part of nature, but let us see that nature is in fact what we are, who we are, how we are, that God and nature are one, and nature and humanity are one. And if we are to understand ourselves to the fullest, then we will understand the earth as our body, the natural world as an outer expression of our inner world. And if we say, well, gosh, my inner world doesn't look like that beautiful river or that beautiful mountain, then that's an invitation to explore, right? That's an invitation to slow down and discover what exactly it means to be one with nature and to know ourselves through nature. So, there is a lot to be said, and there has been a lot written on this, but I thought maybe to do something a little different today. And of course, I have an 8 o'clock prayer that I'll be offering tonight. Also, I didn't mention my free book, which you can get online from my website. But maybe the better way to spend the last part of our time together is just to offer a prayer for the natural world and our unfolding awakening with all that is within us, that we have until now only understood as a world around us. So with that, for what it's worth, let's take a breath, let's close our eyes, and let's feel this prayer for the earth together. To the one that is all, our source, our substance, dear God, we call from the deepest place we know to the power and blessing of Spirit. Today, we are grateful with humility and love for all the gifts of the natural world, for the way the creatures of the world, the plants of the world, the stones of the world, the waters and fires, and all the natural forces and powers of the world, for the way they nourish us in body and mind and heart and soul. We are blessed every day with the food that we eat, for this is nature. May we remember the green fields, the rich black soil, the hands that pick and clean and care for the fields. May we remember the oceans, the creatures swimming deep beyond view, and the pollution that has left our signature across the ocean's surface around the neck of sea turtles. May we remember the very clothes on our back, the cotton fields, the pesticides, all the dynamics of our complex relationship with nature. Dear God, may we find a new balance. May we feel the beauty and purpose and power in our connection to nature every day. Every day. May we honor the sacraments of our lives as a tribute to the generosity of nature every day. The way nature feeds us, gives us medicine, teaches us, inspires us, comforts us, and gives us an eternal home. Nature is the first expression of Spirit. And we pray, dear God, that we would see this, feel this, know this with every fiber of our being, and through this transform our relationship to life, to all life, through our honoring and stewardship of the natural world. May we remember who and what we really are, all beings, an expression of the One, living in concert and harmony. May we open our hearts and minds to each other and the preciousness of our natural world and the endless ways we depend on it for our very physical existence and for our ultimate spiritual awakening and evolution. We give thanks again and again and again to the natural powers, to the four elements, to all the creatures, the animal world, the insect world, the aquatic world, the plant spirits, the stone spirits, to all the spirits of place and beyond, the stars and planets, to all the forces of this natural world, to all the forces of this existence, we give thanks and remember that we are one, and we do not live except by our love and blessing of you. For all these things and the prayers that remain unspoken in our hearts, we say thank you to this Earth Mother, the beauty and power of this natural world. Amen.